Now you write non-developmental expenditure. Now can you tell me few non-developmental expenditure? Expenditure done by government which does not create any kind of development. Any idea? First one is salaries and pension of the government employees. So if government gives certain amount of money to the people or to the employees, then it will not create any amount of asset. So for the government perspective, it is a non-developmental revenue expenditure. So you write first one, salaries and pension. Salaries and pension. Next point, any idea other than this? Subsidies we can take it later, but priority wise. Second one is your interest payment, because here in revenue receipt you have received the interest, so here interest payment. Suppose for example Government of India took loan from World Bank, and whatever the interest we are paying on that particular loan, it will come under revenue expenditure. Because whatever the money you are giving in the form of interest to World Bank, that will not create any asset for our country. So that is revenue expenditure. So have you written interest payment? Second point is interest payment. Third point, any idea? Maintenance of public utility. We can take this, but that will come under developmental expenditure. Here you write the most important expenditure on law and order. Expenditure on law and order, comma, civil administration and defense. Now you can write subsidies.
Do the expenditure on law and order and civil administration not come under salaries?
Under?
Salaries, because we are
No. Okay, we are giving salaries to the employees, but what about government vehicles? Who will fill the petrol? Who will maintain these vehicles? These are the things.
So given government organizes Amarat Yatras and different shrines, pilgrimages, so where should we include?
What?
Expenditure on this pilgrimage and Amarat Yatras and other, should we include them in
Revenue expenditure, obviously. They are not creating any asset. Just think about one thing. Will they create any amount of revenue in future? No. They will invest and that will be consumed. Finish. That will come under revenue expenditure. Now you write last one. Gifts. Gifts given by government. Gift.
So to whom?
Anyone, any country, any individual.
So anything that will not turn out to be a source of revenue
In future. That will come under revenue expenditure. Because these are day-to-day and current expenditure. Check. Obviously. Not to individuals, to other countries as well. If you are giving grant, certain kind of grant, that will also come here. Like for example, in 2015, Nepal experienced a severe earthquake. India gave certain amount of money. That will not create any asset for the country. So that will come under revenue expenditure. Check. Clear a concept of clear rakho kya? Will that investment earn you certain kind of income in future? If no, then this will come under revenue expenditure. Okay. Now we write one line. Under revenue expenditure, the major share is of non-developmental expenditure. The major share is of non-developmental expenditure. So, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll move on to capital receipts. So, third one, you write capital receipts. Now, capital receipt is the most important item. You should remember these 4 items by heart. There are 4 items. First one, you write Receipts from disinvestment. Receipts from disinvestment. Second point. Any idea? There are 4 points. So you write sale of assets by government. Sale of assets by government. What kind of assets government can sell? Any idea about assets? Can you give me an example? Spectrum allocation. Coal blocks, spectrum allocation. So these are the few examples. It means if a government is thinking about selling a particular land of a public sector undertaking, that will also come under sale of asset. You are selling land. So like currently government is thinking about that we should sell the land of big PSUs. So ONGC is all over. ONGC is a public sector undertaking, and ONGC is having high amount or a large amount of lands all over the country. But they are not using that particular amount of land. They are using around 60 to 70% of that. So government is thinking about to sell that 30% land and to earn revenue. That is what we call sale of assets. Disinvestment is simple, reducing the stake of government of India into a public sector undertaking. Like for example, if you think about any bank like State Bank of India, government of India holds 53% of the share. So if government of India is thinking about selling a 1% share under State Bank of India, it means from 53 to 52, that will come under disinvestment. Do you know the difference between nationalization, privatization, disinvestment? Pata hai aapko? Nationalization is, suppose there is one private company, government will take over it. Getting my point? That is known as nationalization. What's the meaning of disinvestment? Shedding the share of the government. Like in Central Bank of India, there's one commercial bank called Central Bank of India. 88% share government is holding. So if government reduces from 88% to 80%, that 8% is what we call disinvestment. And if government thinks from 88% to 40%, that is what we call privatization. It means government is giving ownership to private sector. Getting my point? So sale of assets, number 1 you write example, spectrum allocation. Spectrum allocation. Second one, coal block allocation. Comma, selling of land, building and machinery. Selling of land, building and machinery. Okay, done. Now you have to understand capital receipts. There are third important point, recovery of the past loans. So suppose government of India gave loan to government of Nepal of 100 crore. So India gave loan to Nepal of rupees 100 crore at 10% interest rate. So at the end of the year, how much India will receive? 110 crore. So whatever this 10 crore we are receiving, that will go to revenue receipts. And if the next year this principal amount will come back to India, that will come under capital receipts. Getting my point? It means 100 crore belongs to India. India ka hi paisa tha. So that is what we call principal amount. So if the principal amount comes back next year after the completion of loan period, then this principal amount will come here, and whatever the extra 10% you have earned throughout the year, 10%, it means 10 crores. 10 crores will go to revenue receipts. So recovery of past loan, principal amount come here, interest amount, whatever you will receive will come here. Any doubt? Now you write the fourth one, the most important. हाँ एग्जाम्पल लिखो, मैं लिखा हूँ आप लिख रहे हैं? हाँ done. Now you write the fourth point. Most important, put the star on it. Fourth point is borrowing by the government. Borrowing by the government. Borrowing by the government. Borrowing by the government. Okay. So these 1, 2, 3, 4 items. So just do not look in your copy and just will revise. What was the first one? Do not look in your copy. First one, disinvestment. Sale of asset. Third one, recovery of past loans. Fourth one, borrowing by the government. So you cannot afford to forget these 4 points. Now we'll discuss capital expenditure. ये मैं आपको दोबारा नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा, मार्च में जब अपन बजट डिस्कस करेंगे. दिस इज द बेसिक्स ऑफ द बजट, देन विल डिस्कस बजट. बट वो बजट इस बार तो आएगा नहीं, आपको पता होगा, बिकॉज दिस इज द इलेक्शन ईयर. सो ओनली द इंटरिम बजट विल कम. जिस दिन इलेक्शन ईयर होता है ना, जिस टाइम, उस टाइम फुल बजट नहीं आता. दैट फुल बजट विल कम इन अगस्त. So whenever we will discuss in August 2019, whenever this government or some other government will present the budget. Okay, so these are the basics of the budget, but they can ask questions on basics of the budget anytime, because these flowcharts are very, very important. If you remember, we have made around 2-3 flowcharts. One flowchart of first one, fiscal policy, उसके पहले, then BOP, balance of payment. उसके अलावा अपनी कॉपी में देखना, बहुत सारे 3 या 4 फ्लो चार्ट दैट आर वेरी, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर प्रीलिमिनरी पर्सपेक्टिव. आने ही आना है उसमें से क्वेश्चन. ठीक, कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर. सी राइट कैपिटल बताता हूँ, अब बताता हूँ. कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर करने दो, नहीं कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर लिखने दो, मैं बताता हूँ. कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर यू राइट, it is the expenditure which is lump sum or long term in nature. Lump sum or long term in nature. So first one you write. First one, important expenditure. First one, repayment of past loans. Repayment of past loans. Second one, loans given to states and union territories. Loans given to states and union territories. And the last one, expenditure on infrastructural building and creation of assets. Infrastructural building and creation of assets. Now, what was your question? ठीक है. हाँ. If RBI gives as a loan, that will come here. If RBI gives as an aid without any condition, or if RBI gives as a dividend, extra dividend to the government. So you know all the items where dividend comes. Where comes dividend? Revenue receipts. Where comes loans? revenue receipts, capital receipts. So when RBI will give, it depends on the nature of the amount, because RBI is most heavily capitalized central bank in the world, or one of the most. Around 8.8 lakh crore is the reserves of RBI. याद होगा आपको, मैंने मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी के टाइम आपको लिखा है कॉपी में, RBI is one of the most heavily capitalized central bank of the country. उसका रीजन है, that is why government is demanding more dividend, more share out of it. But if it will come in the form of dividend, it means extra share for the central government, then it will come here. If it is come in the form of loan, then it will come here. But first we have to wait and see that what kind of nature RBI will give the amounts. इस RBI नहीं देने वाला है, RBI is not in mood, but they will impose certain conditions. Like if you remember which section of Section 7 of RBI Act, this is the 1934. Okay, हाँ सही है, अच्छी याद है. Let complete the sentence. So आपको याद रहता है RBI Act 1934. So according to that section, obviously there is compulsion if government demands. But we always talk about autonomy of Reserve Bank of India. It means autonomy of central bank in the working of particular monetary policy. Because you have given the task to Reserve Bank of India that you have to control inflation and price policy, and you have binded RBI with a particular law, like we had discussed monetary policy framework agreement. According to that agreement, RBI has to maintain certain kind of inflation. जो अपन discuss कर चुके monetary policy. So it depends on the nature of that particular amount. ठीक है? If you have any doubt, you can ask now, because we are moving towards deficit.
Why does loan given to another country come under capital deficit and loan given to states and utilities come under capital expenditure?
Because loans given to this is the expenditure of the central government. Loans given to the states are from the kitty of central government. So for central government, this is the expenditure, long-term expenditure, because loans are long-term. That is why. And another point.
Why does the loan given to another country come under capital deficit?
Loans given to another, recovery of past loans. No problem. मुझे मैंने गलत तो नहीं लिखा है. Repayment of past loans. लिखा है ना, repayment of past loans. But here, if you are paying interest, simple example. If you are paying interest for a particular World Bank, if you have taken a loan from World Bank, and if you are paying interest on that will come under revenue expenditure. Simple है ना, logic क्या है? That will not create any asset. If you are giving certain amount of money, interest money to the World Bank, will this create any amount of asset for India? Will this a long term? No, that's a periodic, short term. Maybe every month you have to pay, every year you have to pay. Getting my point?
Where will the loan given to another country come under which category?
Capital expenditure. Because you will recover that will come here. If you are receiving interest received will come here. So interests are short term, principal amount is a long term.
So we can write that under capital expenditure.
Okay, let's see. Because if you are giving loan, like for banking sector, loans are the assets. Simple. So that is, if you are giving loan, that will come here. But that is your capital. You can earn on that capital by lending to some other country. That will come here. Getting my point? If you are giving certain amount of aid, etc., for a disaster in a neighborhood country, that will come here. ठीक है? If you have any doubt, still you can ask. That is very important for preliminary. ठीक है? Done? Shall we move on?